Continuing in the light summary, we reached the integrals of the prayer. We're on the fourth integral. We covered the first three in one session. He said the fourth is reciting the FatiHah. It is obligatory to observe its sequence. Keep the verses in order. Have succession, meaning these are conditions. Shurut. These are conditions for the validity of the recitation. If your recitation is invalidated, does not necessarily mean your prayer is invalidated. It's possible for your recitation to be invalidated without invalidating your prayer. Then you'd have to start over from the beginning. So, the conditions of the FatiHah are to observe its sequence. Putting it out of order on purpose is going to invalidate the prayer. Have succession. That means recite each verse one after the other without a long pause in between. Without a long pause in between, how long can it be? The time it takes for a person to catch his breath. Supposing you were talking and then you ran out of breath. So you needed to catch your breath so you could finish talking. So how much time does it take for you to catch your breath so you can continue talking? That's how much time a person has between the ayat of Al-FatiHah as an integral of the prayer. The FatiHah as an integral of the prayer. To double its doubled letters. How many doubled letters in Al-FatiHah? May Allah answer the dua of who answers this question. How many doubled letters in Al-FatiHah? 5. 4. 14. Correct answer. May Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala answer your dua. Ameen. 14 doubled letters. So if we recite Al-FatiHah, Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. That's 3. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. That's 2 more. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. 2 more. Maliki Yawmiddin. Another one. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. That's 2 more. That's 10 so far. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. There's another one. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. There's another one. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. There's 2 more. 14. So if you miss one, by accident, you have to repeat, not from the beginning. He said to produce a bod that is not a dha. So this is a nice statement. It's correct. It's true. When I see that statement, comes to my mind that so many people were doing that. So he wanted to document that. So this is a nice statement and a correct statement to produce a bod that is not a dha. And it comes to my mind by seeing this statement as if the author saw a lot of people doing that, so he wanted to put it in his book. Or is this something that the scholars say a lot, in particular, this sentence here? I am not so well read in the Shafi'i school that I know so many books and what might be something spread. But I didn't see it. Only saw it right here. To produce a bod that is not a va. And a lot of people do say a bod like a va, though. The norm of the scholars is to transmit. That means they say what was said. But sometimes they will put advice, and sometimes they will address something that happened at their time. And maybe because he has the answer, he will document it. The examples of blasphemy that the Shaykh gave in his chapters of blasphemy, those are real examples. That's why he gave them. He's not making up examples to tell you this is blasphemy and this is blasphemy. The author says, the Fatihah is obligatory for every rakat except for whoever joined the congregation late. And he missed something that's in the summary of obligatory knowledge. Well, he has a signal to it, which is to produce each letter from its proper exit. His signal to that is what he said right here, to produce a bod that's not a va, but it's particular case. So more broadly, it's obligatory to produce the letters from their proper exits. I thought there's going to be more talk here. It's okay. What if a person does not know Al-FatiHah? What's step one? Step one for the one who does not know Al-FatiHah. 5, 4, 3, 2. To learn it immediately. Correct answer. Barakallahu feekum. Ya Allah. The one who does not know Al-Fatihah, step one is to learn it immediately. I mean, memorize it. With the meaning that if he's able to memorize it, let's say immediately, perhaps he is a savant, then it's obligatory. Then he will memorize it immediately and recite it in his prayer. If he can't memorize all of it immediately, then he has some options, such as to read it from a paper, or to follow the prompting of someone. Like someone sits beside him and says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So he says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, etc. Those are valid. If he's reading it, whether it's on the wall or it's in his hand. SubhanAllah, I remember being new Muslim. Had Fatiha taped to my wall. MashaAllah. And some statements. Laysa kamithli shay. And Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Falaq, Surah Al-Nas. MashaAllah. Okay, if he can't do that, then he will replace it. Replace it with what? Replace it with Quran if he is able to. Because the best replacement for Quran is Quran. So then he can recite any 7 ayat of the Quran, and the order is not necessary. If he can't do that, then he replaces it with a dhikr, according to what came in some of the hadiths, like saying Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. According to details, the rule being the dhikr that you use to replace the Fatihah must not have fewer letters than the Fatihah. And what if you can't do that? Then you stand there silent for the duration of Al-FatiHah, and you do not translate it according to the Shafi'i school. Very important. How long can you do the replacement? Only for the time that's enough for you to learn the Fatihah. So that's relative. After there's enough time for you to learn Al-Fatihah, you become negligent. You're in the red zone. Your replacement is no longer valid. Then what do? If you are now in the red zone or the negative zone, and you still don't know Al-Fatihah, well, you have to learn it immediately. But what about the prayers? You have to pray, and then you have to make it up. You can't let the time go out without doing the prayer, and it's not valid prayer. You have to make it up. Subhanallah. So some people are so negligent here. You're praying a prayer, it's not valid. It's not valid now, you have to do it again too. And the remedy is just to learn Al-Fatihah. The author said the Fatiha is obligatory for every rakat except for whoever joined the congregation late. Yes. So this is the Shafi'i school, that every individual recites Al-Fatiha. There's 3 possible individuals when it comes to the prayer. There's 3 possible individuals, or 3 scenarios for a praying person. 3 scenarios for a praying person. What would those 3 be? The clue is in what I just read to you. The Fatiha is obligatory for every rakat except for whoever joined the congregation late. A praying person has one of 3 possibilities. What are those? 5, 4, praying behind an imam. 3, that's 1. 2. Okay. So my question is, the praying person has any of 3 possibilities. So those 3 possibilities would be either he's praying alone, or he's praying as an imam, or he's praying as a follower. Those are the 3 possibilities. So the Fatiha in the Shafi'i school has to be recited by all the praying people. That's how I got there. The Fatiha has to be recited by all the praying people in the Shafi'i school, except for the follower who joined the prayer late. Only for the follower who joined the prayer late. And just for that rakat. That's the only case excluded in the Shafi'i school from reciting the Fatiha completely. Completely reciting the Fatiha. That's different from the Maliki school, in which the prayer of the Imam, the recitation of the Imam stands for the recitation of the follower. In that school, the follower can say the takbir to enter into the prayer and say the salam to exit from the prayer, and the Imam carries the rest. Okay. So, what does this look like? There is a congregation going on. You come in and you go to the line without running. That's not sunnah. It came in the hadith that they were praying with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when they heard the commotion of men. So then, after the prayer, the Prophet alaihi salatu wasalam asked them about their commotion. And they said that they rushed to the prayer so that they could catch the ruku'. Now, I need to review the rest of the hadith. This is not sunnah. It's better for you to walk to the prayer. Yani, to go calmly, not to run like that. Maybe Allah will guide me to pull the hadith out for you, inshaAllah. So you enter in and you stand in the line and you start reciting Al-FatiHah. And then, let's say you said, Maliki Yawmiddin. And then the Imam said, Allahu Akbar, and bent over for ruku'. Here, now you just interrupt this recitation and make ruku' with the Imam. And even if you said less than that, then you make ruku' with the Imam. What's the cutoff point? The rule is, if you join the prayer late and do not have enough time to complete the Fatiha, then you interrupt your Fatiha and you make ruku' with the Imam. Because sometimes you could just, you got there late, and then the Imam, he bent over for ruku'. But just one moment here, you finish your Fatiha, make ruku' with him, you'll be fine. You do it. Then that rakat is counted, as long as the condition here is that you were still with the Imam in ruku' for sure, with knowledge, yaqeen, certainty. You were for sure still with the Imam in ruku'. Then this rakat counts for you. If you have even the slightest doubt that you were in tuma'nina with the Imam in the ruku', then that rakat does not count for you. So you're going to have knowledge here. Yani yaqeen, certainty. Okay. So yes, the Fatiha did need some good time. Any question? He says, the fifth is bowing. Okay. That is to bend over until your palms could reach your knees. If you have average length arms, without your knees being very bent. A slight bend in the knees is still valid. At what point does a bend in the knees invalidate the ruku'? When the bending is so much that the resulting position is not ruku', will be something else. Like, for example, pretending to sit on a chair. That's not ruku'. Or something else. He says the sixth is tranquility, serenity, tuma'nina, in that position, such that all of one's organs settle in place. Yes. That's a wording of the scholars. Pausing such that all of one's organs settle in place. And also, it could be said, separating your going down from your coming up. That's another wording. And also, it could be said, as long as it takes to say Subhanallah. That's another wording. The seventh is standing erect. But here, the sixth, tranquility in the position of bowing. Don't forget, bowing is a long integral. The prayer has long integrals and short integrals. The long integrals are the ones that you can stay in as long as you want. And the short integrals are the ones that you only stay in them. The longest that you can stay in them is, or that you should stay in them, is long enough to say anything narrated from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in that position. Anything narrated from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in that position, you can stay there to say it and then move on. So what are those? I'll just tell you now. Bowing is long. Prostrating is long. Standing up straight is short. Sitting between the two sujuds is short. So the seventh is to stand erect. He says in the Arabic, al-i'tidal, yani straight. Stand straight. The eighth is having tranquility in that position. The ninth is prostrating twice in every rakat. Prostrating twice in every rakat. Notice something. Number 9 is prostrating twice. That means we're counting two things once. Did we just see here? Number 6 is tranquility. Number 8 is tranquility. We're on number 9. Number 10 is tranquility. Number 12 is tranquility. 4 instances of tranquility. Why are we counting those separately? Why don't we just say to have tranquility in 4 spots? Like we say to prostrate twice in each rakat. You can say it that way if you want to. Some of the Shafi'is said it that way. But this way is closest to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he said to the man, إِذَا قُمْتَ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ فَكَبِّرْ. If you stood up to pray, فَاسْتَقْبِلِ الْقِبْلَةَ وَكَبِّرْ. Then face the Qibla and say takbir. ثُمَّ قْرَأْ مَا تَيَسَّرَ مَعَكَ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ. Then recite what is easy for you of the Qur'an. That's proof for something I told you today. ثُمَّ ارْكَعْ حَتَّى تَطْمَئِنَّ رَاكِعًا. Then bow until you are tranquil, bowing. ثُمَّ ارْفَعْ حَتَّى تَطْمَئِنَّ قَائِمًا. Then rise until you are tranquil, standing. ثُمَّ اسْجُدْ حَتَّى تَطْمَئِنَّ سَاجِدًا. Then prostrate until you are tranquil, prostrating. ثُمَّ اجْلِسْ حَتَّى تَطْمَئِنَّ جَالِسًا. Then sit until you are tranquil. ثم اسجد حتى تطمئن ساجدا, then prostrate until you are tranquil. ثم افعل ذلك في صلاتك كلها, then do that throughout all of your prayer. So this way of counting the integrals that some Shafi'is have is closer to this hadith. The ninth is prostrating twice in every rak'ah. Okay. Its minimum is putting some of the forehead on the ground. This means uncovered. That's the Shafi'i school. In the Shafi'i school, your clothing is like you. So you cannot make sujood on your clothing, and you cannot make sujood on your hair. Like, you're not going to make sujood on your own hand, for example.
Meaning the clothing you're currently wearing.
Yes, the clothing that you're wearing, the clothing that moves with your body. Yes. Only reason why I didn't say the clothing that moves with your body, because we just said that a few lessons ago. So I thought the best of all of you that you knew what I meant. If you're not wearing some clothing, you can prostrate on it. He said, its minimum is putting some of the forehead on the ground, some of the inner digits of the hands and feet, placing one's two knees, some pressing of one's head, and elevating the rear higher than the upper part. Yes. Some pressing of one's head. What did he say in Arabic? وَتَحَامُلٌ بِرَأْسِهِ. I don't know if we should say pressing here as opposed to releasing the weight of one's head. That's enough. To release the weight of your head, that's enough. Water teeth, bismillah. And elevating the rear higher than the upper part. Yes, that's the Shafi'i school. That's a condition for sujood. Therefore, if you made sujood on steps in such a way that your head is higher than your rear, then that's not valid in the Shafi'i school. And the 10th is tranquility in that position. You already know now that you can stay there as long as you want. It's sunnah to make sujood to make dua in your sujood. It's sunnah to make dua in your sujood, but must be in Arabic. All statements in the prayer must be in Arabic in the Shafi'i school. The Hanafis have some talk for someone who wants to do otherwise. But in the Shafi'i school, you cannot pronounce other than Arabic language. To me, the idea of other than Arabic being in the prayer is so foreign and alien. But the Hanafis have something. Let's stop there.